Doping in sports is becoming a larger and larger problem as newer and newer drugs are being discovered, and new methods that can evade traditional methods of testing. But what is doping exactly anyways?
That make it important to understand stimulant misuse is number one, the vast majority of people in whom they're prescribed, those are people who have attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, use their medicines appropriately, and they use it as directed. However, there's a small percentage, probably 10 to 15%, that are either selling or giving away their medicine, which is called diversion, or they're misusing them themselves.
In 1988, Canadian sprinter Ben Johnson was on top of the world at the Seoul Olympic Games. He won gold in the 100-meter run, breaking his own world record with a time of 9.79 seconds. However, after the victory, he tested positive for steroids. Johnson was stripped of his medal, and the event is now known as the dirtiest race in history.
Doping is when an athlete uses some kind of drug in order to enhance their athletic performance in some way. This can be done through a variety of different drugs that all have different effects on the human body, depending on their group. One of the most common of doping drugs are stimulants.
There are a lot of occasions that we actually end up giving, maybe we're not aware of it. One common group would be a lot of the cold medications that we give children when they have a cold actually have stimulants. Another big category would be the medications. I would say about 90% of the medications that are now given for attention deficit disorder are actually termed stimulants because they increase the activity of the heart and the circulation.
Stimulants are drugs used commonly in daily life for a vast majority of people, as coffee is a general stimulant that helps people's alertness and attention in the mornings. However, in terms of drug use, common stimulants used in sports include amphetamine, cocaine, and Ritalin. However, these types of drugs are commonly secreted and remain in urine for up to 3 to 4 days after use, endangering anyone who is using them for being caught. Therefore, athletes who do not want to play fairly, but do not want to get caught, need a new solution. This came in the form of blood doping.
Versus ours.
Armstrong was exposed as a doper in 2012.
Lance Armstrong has no place in cycling.
His brand imploded. His legacy as a cancer survivor and activist polluted.
It's been an interesting couple of weeks.
Blood doping involves using a chemical called EPO, or erythropoietin. This chemical spurs the body to reduce higher volumes of red blood cells, which are the cells responsible for carrying oxygen to the muscles and brain. Increases in oxygen improves the body's metabolic performance and therefore would allow an athlete to perform past their natural limits. The most important aspect of EPO, however, is that its use is incredibly difficult to detect, as EPO is naturally produced by the body in low oxygen situations. Thus, for cheating athletes, chances of getting caught are significantly lower. These examples are just a couple out of the hundreds of ways athletes have tried to cheat the system to gain an unfair advantage over their fellow athletes. Doping is becoming a notoriously common issue, especially among certain athletes that are going to a foreign country, sponsored by their government.
Or Russia in, well, almost everything.
But with newer and newer technologies being developed every year, scientists are far from losing this war. The goal of this challenge is to discover a potential doper that is hiding among the athletes attending the Olympics. He or she is suspected of having used drugs to his or her advantage in the cycling competition. It is your turn now. Will you finally be able to bring this suspect to justice so that I can finally go home? I wish you the best of luck.